Anybody who is boiling their brains out because LaVar Ball is too large of a distraction for the Lakers organization, anyone who says he needs to be held accountable does not know how the Lakers operate. They do not know how the Laker franchise operates. The Los Angeles Lakers, the team of Tinseltown, Hollywood's home squad, this team has literally never been without distraction in modern human basketball history. Through their winning times, their darkest days, if you can be sure of one thing, this franchise will always be surrounded, engulfed, embroiled, or whatever the heck with controversy, personality clashes, scandal, and off-the-court distractions. It's how they operate. So anybody who has their panties in a twist because of LaVar Ball needs to just look at your own damn history. So let's do that. Let's go back to when the Lakers became the Lakers, or Showtime, back to 80. Magic was delivering ultimatums to his team owner to get the coach fired. He was too centered on Kareem and the slow half-court offense, so Magic Johnson went to the team owner Jerry Buss and said either fire him or trade me, and that went on for a season. That's some good old classic young 22-year-old player coach mutiny stuff. It is definitely a distraction. How about this distraction? This is gonna carry us right through the 80s. The Forum Club. You know about the Forum Club? That exclusive sports bar, restaurant in the LA Forum. It's where Jerry Buss would have his private parties after every home game. And you know what that meant in the 80s. Go ahead and tell him, Magic.
He had 10, 20 of them, and look, Irvin, which one you want? And I was like, oh, okay, it's like that?
What were you doing back in the 80s?
Sex with several women at the same time.
Yeah. Like I said, women have different fantasies. Some want to be with 2 or 3 at a time. You know, one time I had 6 at one time. That's
Just think, if that was going on today, if they had something like that in today's game, where the actual wild party with women and vices was at the actual stadium and players were rushing there to go there after every single game, win or loss, I think they'd call that a distraction. Did you know that Lakers legend James Worthy was busted in a prostitution sting in the late 80s and went to jail during the season? Actually, the day he got out of jail, he went straight to a game. Sounds pretty distracting to me. And then there's the 90s. Let me tell you, even before he announced he had HIV, he was disappearing from games. Nobody knew what was wrong with him. This went on for months. They didn't know if he'd be back or not. Nobody was able to say if he was okay or not. Just transport any of these problems to today's game and tell me that's not a distraction. Tell me that's not a major league distraction. Then he left.
because of the HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers today.
And the Lakers had to deal with that, having that on them and in their hearts, dealing with a friend that they believe is walking to his deathbed. They really played with no distractions that year. And then he came back. And then the man came back to play.
Tonight is the night. We knew he was coming back, and tonight, Magic is back. Boy, that is some news.
I tell you, that's the best news that a lot of people have heard in a long time, and it's good to see Irvin back on the basketball court with that infectious smile.
This team literally had the only player with HIV in the history of professional sports and just tried to play like it was nothing. Put all modern understandings aside, this was a second-to-second distraction for everyone. Don't let the man bleed on court. They made a whole documentary about that. They made a whole short film about him getting a cut. And you're telling me that wasn't a major distraction? That's what they do, winning or losing. It's all about being distracted. I mean, do we even have to revisit the Shaq Kobe era? I mean, there was this. There was this. There was this. Which one of these isn't a distraction? Which one? Which one of these is not a distraction? And then, how about we toss in an entire trial where the star player is literally flying between court in Colorado and game time in LA. Remember Kobe almost broke mentally? He couldn't handle all this. He had to split his personality into a goddamn alternate creature just to continue on. If you could script what the ultimate team distraction would be, I believe a rape trial 1,500 miles away would be in the writer's room somewhere. And then after all the Kobe and Shaq, this, and then this, let's just tack on, how about some beef with Karl Malone? Remember that whole deal? Karl Malone getting too friendly with Kobe's wife.
Shaq's throwing comments at you, Phil Jackson's book, and now the Karl Malone problem.
We just go in the back with no cameras, no nothing, and let's just knuckle up and get it over with.
Did you ever make that offer to Kobe?
No, but it's standing.
But after that, we've got Kobe demanding a trade. Remember that? People demand trades these days, it becomes the story. It becomes a big distraction for the team. It's the headline. And Kobe, the star, the backbone of the team, was demanding a trade unless they got him some help. Talk about your distraction. How about the ongoing just romantic tension between Phil Jackson and Jeannie Buss? I mean, how often do you have a team owner and a head coach in a torrid, ongoing, on and off relationship? Are you kidding me? I mean, what if Peter Guber and Steve Kerr were in a relationship? You know, that might impede some of the team making decisions, kind of clouds people's independent judgment. And I don't even want to get into Kobe and Dwight, but we have to. Kobe wants to hand the team over to him in years. He wants to train him, wants to make sure that Dwight can carry this legend on. And you know what? They did. They carried the legend on of distraction. Because that whole season, that whole couple of seasons was full of their feud and their beef. And then you bring Steve Nash into it, and he's injured. But you're paying him $20 million. Everything here is an off-court distraction, and it is how they operate. And then, what about the years where Magic wasn't even a part of the organization and was criticizing them regularly? Not to bring this all full circle yet, but we're worried about a guy outside of the organization criticizing the Lakers. But do you remember Magic doing that on the outside? That was bigger. That was more important. That was more weighty. Remember when Larry Nance Jr. had to deal with that rape tweet? The tweet about Kobe Bryant being a rapist, and then he had to play with Kobe Bryant? That covered a few weeks, a couple of months, distracting us all from the game, distracting the players from the game, being asked about it. Then there's Nick Young, just recently, and D'Angelo Russell. Remember that? Remember D'Angelo Russell secretly taping Nick Young about cheating on his fiance? That became a little fun distraction for a while there. Didn't know if those two players could even play on the same team for a while. Kind of revealed D'Angelo Russell to the Lakers, and they got rid of him. That's some distracting shit, man. And then even till the bitter end, the Kobe farewell tour turned the entire season into a sideshow. Sure, it was a celebration, but for the basketball team, it became the worst situation to actually try and play. Tanking or not, you can't play in that environment. You can't make progress. Nobody made progress. It was a lost year for development and a pure, unadulterated distraction. So, now we get to LaVar Ball. Someone who doesn't even play for the team, someone who has little to no actual influence over the actual team. He alone is doing us all a favor by keeping the torch lit. Without LaVar, who would be the distraction now? Who would maintain the standards of this NBA franchise? And to be honest, this might be the smallest, least effective or consequential distraction this team has had in the past 30 years. But oh, how short our memories. You know, Shaq said something interesting, and that's that the beef between him and Kobe was media beef. When practice came around, it was all about that, all about the team and winning. I would say that this current distraction doesn't even masquerade as anything more than a media beef. It is literally manufactured by the media. People asking him questions. It can only exist in the media. They are not talking about this at practice or the locker room. Because unlike almost every other one of those Laker caliber distractions, at the heart of it, he has no role in the team. So the distraction can only go so far. So anybody who's calling for the Lakers to trade Lonzo Ball or the Lakers to make some sort of overt stance against LaVar Ball, apparently they don't know the history of the Lakers. He is just a necessary bacteria in the Lakers franchise that is a living organism. And Magic's supposed to take some stand. Magic played one-on-one against death and won. You think he's worried about somebody's dad giving advice? This man knows distraction, he lived distraction, he was the distraction. This is not a distraction. If anything, it's just tradition. If If you want to be celebrated and remembered at a halftime presentation with even a featured video, there's 3 ways to do it. First, these are humans playing characters, just like